I'd been in public service for a lot of years, and building cool stuff for our communities is one of my passions.
When my family first moved to Anna back in 2012, one of the things we noticed was a budding skate park out at Slater Creek.
My name is Kevin Toten. I am on the city council. I've been on since 2018. I remember about 5-6 years ago, a young man showed up at one of the council meetings and he wanted the new skate park.
My name is Fabian Balderes. High school was a weird time for me. I was very angsty. I didn't feel like I fit in. And skating was a perfect outlet for me because there's no one over my shoulder telling me how to do it. I can just be alone. Underneath that pavilion, I actually skated there a lot. That's where I learned all my tricks, and it was wonderful for me. It really helped me get through hard times.
Back in the 1980s, in the second golden age of skateboarding, I was very into skating. And typically the best concrete in a community is going to be in your local businesses and whatnot. Skate parks didn't exist. But of course these businesses don't really want you skating in their parking lots and on their sidewalks. So one of the things that is part of my profession is providing activities and spaces and amenities for people to engage in whatever their favorite sport is, including skateboarding, in a safe environment, in a place where it's welcomed and encouraged.
I myself was a BMX racer whenever I was younger, and I wanted to see something different besides a skate park. So I was pushing for a pump track, and luckily I had Stan Carver that also started on the council. He got behind me on that idea.
Since my high school days, I've envisioned living in a city that embraced BMX track and half pipes. In 2013, I brought forth the vision of a BMX-friendly skate park to the Anna City Council. I believe that the City Council at the time saw just how passionate it was about the skate park as well as the rest of our parks. This is what kickstarted me volunteering with the City of Anna.
One of the big reasons why I decided that we needed a new skate park was because of my teacher, Miss Bristol.
The young man, he was just in high school, and in his speech in front of the city council, which had to be nerve-wracking, he told us his teacher said, just go and talk to the city council and see what happens.
I'd be in class complaining all the time about the small little park we had, and how I didn't feel like it was enough for our community. So when I went to the first city council meeting, I had a poster board with a bunch of 2D drawings of obstacles I believe we needed. And I didn't know how to go about it. Luckily, I wrote down my name on the sign-up sheet to where you can go up and talk about what you think the city needed. And once it was my turn, they noticed that I was this junior in high school, long hair, had no idea how to go about the procedure. So they kind of broke formality for me. They said you can just come up here and just talk about what you believe in. And I did exactly that. And they were fully supportive 100% of the way.
He started coming to the parks meetings, working with the parks board, the parks director at the time. And then he was a huge part of the design.
Well, there's two major hiccups that came along in the process. The first one is we got a new park director. So when the old park director left, my motion to start a new skate park also left with him.
Skater Mark Mershon joined our city staff as our neighborhood services director. He began working with our local students, referred to as Anna Coyotes, and they started sharing their ideas about the skate park. I knew if this had any chance of success, now was our time to take a shot at it.
When I first got here in the summer of 2020, the community was starting on a parks master plan. A lot of great ideas were coming from our neighbors. I got to hear a lot of the history of the community, some of the initiatives that had been brainstormed over the years, and the skate park was one of those that was coming out fairly prominent in the master planning process. So I was really excited to be a part of that and working with the City Council and the Parks Advisory Board and some of the young people in our community, in particular one young man who had got some petitions together and talked to the park board.
Luckily, with our new park director, he was fully on board with my idea. He used to skate when he was younger, so we were able to kick it off the bat right away. Then the second major hiccup, all we needed is like a majority vote. And the main question people were asking if the park was going to be used or not. And that was a really big worry for me because I knew people wanted this park and it would be used. But to convince the city council that it was going to be that way felt like a challenge. However, I made a video where I went to different parks in different cities, and I would film people asking if they use the current Anna skate park and how often they would use it, and then if we got a new park, how often they would use it. And I put together a big video petition, and I went to the next city council meeting and presented it in front of the city council.
It was great to see a young adult get involved in the local government and seeing how it works and understanding the process.
The next major disbelief is when our old park, the one that I have so much nostalgia for, started to get torn apart, and they fenced off that area, and we just knew it was only a matter of time.
So clearly there's a lot of ideas about the types of features that can go into a skate park. It's a very artistic, creative process because there's really no limit to what you can do. So it was really important for staff to find the right partners to help this vision come into a reality. We were really fortunate. We found two companies, New Line Skate and SPA Skate down in Austin. These are former pro skaters. Some of them are still active pro skaters. They're very passionate about what they do, very talented in constructing this type of amenity. They were really helpful in bringing all of the ideas from the city council and the Parks Advisory Board, the community, the kids who had been advocating.
They had this picture of the final draft of what the design would be, and I'd take a picture of that and I'd send it to every single person I knew and just get amazing feedback.
We transformed this vision into a feature-rich skate park equipped with a pump track and ADA amenities.
It was really important from the very beginning, especially to the kids that were driving this initiative, that everyone get to utilize the park. So not just skateboards, but scooters, inline skates, wheelchairs, you name it. If it's on wheels and will roll, they wanted everyone to be able to participate. So the skate park was designed with all abilities in mind. There's some place and some aspect of this park where everyone gets to participate. That's what building community is all about, and it was driven by this community.
The beginning of this process started when I was a junior in high school, more than about 6 years ago. And some advice I'd give to myself back then is, as long as you're able to persist, you'll always move a slight inch forward. I believe luck is preparation and opportunity meeting together. And the squeaky wheel gets the grease, so if you really want something, let it be known. A message I'd like to give to the community that's going to be using this park is it took a lot of effort to get here, so from the bottom of my heart, if you could take care of the park and just be together, you know, treat each other kindly, just have fun with it.
It brings kids together. I think it's been a great part of Anna's parks. I met young men from all over DFW coming to our track because I use it just as much as anyone else.
So when I started this park, I mainly wanted it for myself. I just wanted a whole park to myself. But as I got older, you know, the less skating I'm doing, more of a career I'm trying to follow. And I realize now that this park is going to be used for many years after me. I'm very excited to be able to hand something down to the future generation of skateboarders.
The journey was long, but I think the outcome speaks for itself.
Everybody got to be a part of it, and I just got to be a facilitator in the process. And so it was really wonderful to see the input. Everybody participated. We had a lot of community stakeholders that weighed in on making this an epic amenity for our park system. Tremendous support from the City Council, working with some of the best designers in the business, done projects all over the world, working with them to facilitate this design, really created something special.
I'm immensely grateful to Anna's voters and the City Council for believing in this idea. Collaborating with our city staff, our council, including Councilman Kevin Toten, who's also a fellow BMX enthusiast, and our Anna Coyotes.
I'd like to thank everyone that was a part of this. I'd like to thank Brian for showing up to that first meeting with me. I'd like to thank Mark, the park director, for being with us the entire way. I'd like to thank everyone that was a participant, and the City Council and the developers.
You know, I just want to say that this is what happens when people come together and get around a vision, collaborate together and bring forth an idea. I think that we have something awesome here in the city of Anna, and there's more things to come.
And with all that said, I do believe it's time to skate.
guys got. You look like Sean Malto, man. I bet you good.
Nah, this is the coolest park in the world.